right, welcome to Cafe Wish Podcast interview. Let me introduce the topic.
Okay.
All right, so now we're switching gears, and we're gonna go talk about propaganda. How Asians are shown in movies, films. There is a type of image, a look, that, and this is in my opinion, and also in my work study, a case study here, that, and in my study of this, okay, a black like me, there is an image that is portrayed of an Asian. Of course, I want you to give your description, and then I will give my description, and then we will dialogue from there.
Okay. First of all, I would like to. I hate when people in the Western countries, West side, like when they say, Asian, yeah, ching chong, Asian, yeah, slit eyes, and they've definitely, on their mind, like Asian representing is those that represent Asian is slit eyes, fair, little bit fair skin, or sometimes can be mulatto and so on. Definitely, what they're referring to is Chinese or the Japanese, all this. But for us who are in Asia, because Asia itself, come on, is a big continent, we see people like we in Asia. When we see people, sometimes we can definitely know who are you? Like, if I walk on the street and I see people, I can definitely say, this is Java from Indonesia. Oh my God, this is Pinoy from Philippines. And then we can say, you're Chinese, local Chinese, not the mainland Chinese. You can just say like, oh yeah, you're black. Uniquely, you're black, but you can speak Malay that sound a little bit like Indonesian. So yeah, you're from that side, the oceanic of Indonesia, like the Papua New Guinea or the Maluku Island or Ambon and so on.
What about Bumi?
Local, local Bumi.
Because they're black too.
Local Bumi. You mean our local Bumi?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, we can say definitely how from their language, and at the same time from their, maybe I can just say, their lifestyle, from what food they eat. They're definitely, for food itself, they're like already on our side, yeah. So from the language they speak, and then we definitely can differentiate, oh, this is orang asli, like our indigenous people, our Bumi, this is our people, Malaysian, hey, yeah. What I'm trying to say here is, what on that side of the world see Asian is like very limited, like slit eyes, Chinese, Xinjiang, blah 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 blah. And on the other side of it, from the east side, we see Asian more like a diverse, and I can just say, if they say Asian is like Chinese, that is so unfair. Why? There's a lot of Asian DNA in Hawaii. People who came all the way from Philippines in Hawaii. There's a lot of them. I can say that. Like, for example, the famous one, Bradman Rock. He's Philippines. His mother migrated to Hawaii, and then what he's now American, and then there's a lot of it, like his sibling and the cousins, like his cousin, like the singer Bella Poarch, also there. They're born genetically, they have this Filipino blood in them. Genetic. But are they fair? Nah. You can see that. They're mulatto.
Wow. I hear so much frustration from you in a good way, not in a bad frustration. I don't mean that to be in a bad way. I mean as it feels like you're able to get it off your chest, right?
Because we're not slit. We don't have that slit eyes. We don't have that. Don't make it too rigid. Don't make it too rigid. Like, you're Asian. Oh, okay. Like, some people, I have cousins that they went to Western countries. They went to they went to US before, and then they thought my cousins are Latino, and then my cousin said, "No, I'm Malaysian." And they didn't know where is Malaysia, and they said the other side of the world, the Asia's part, the Southeast Asia. You don't look Asia. They said that you don't look Asia. Like, what? I am Asia. Come on, I'm not Chinos.
So I kind of want to dive into my perspective because I think it will speak to what you're saying from a Western, right? So when I was younger, right, when I was growing up, even till to now, if you say Asian, there is an image that pops up, right, in people's minds, and that's the propaganda I was referring to. That's the image of whiteness in film, I like to call it. Whiteness in film. This is another case study, but this is a terminology in another for another day and time I will address. But it's whiteness in film versus the real. The real is what you're referring to, what you guys see in Asia as an Asian every day, right? Versus whiteness in film, how Asians are reflected in the media and in television and movies and commercials, even in anime and even in different realms of entertainment. When you come modeling, when you look at different features, when you go, see people who walk the runway, there's an image that they portray in the media, right? So from a Western perspective, as an American, as a Black American, when I grew up, and even till now, when the images that is shown in America of an Asian is a typical light, bright, almost white-looking Asian. Definitely with a certain eye look, a certain skin tone, certain hair texture, right? The straight brunette hair, the very light, bright, almost white, and certain eye features, nose and lips, right? And certain height, and a lot of them are very skinny, right?
Can I
Yeah.
Can I ask you something like, how do you guys, do you know Russia?
Yeah.
How do you guys see Russian people? Why? Russia is part of Asia.
Can I address it?
Yeah.
Okay. So though Russia is a part of Asia, Russia has a lot of white Euros there, right? So that goes into geopolitics. So though that they are considered Asian, they're genetically less Asians than what they actually are. What I mean by that, the indigenous Russians are Black and they are Asian genetically, right? They follow in line with the genetic gene pool of what it means to be Asian from a Black perspective, genetically Black. However, due to colonization, due to the transatlantic slave trade, the trans-Sahara, and due to the Silk Road and the Asian slave trade, the Asian slave trade, white people have flooded the gates of Russia and mixed in with the locals and dominated in a very peculiar way. Not peculiar, very interesting way, okay? Now you said something about climate. Now, in my case study, with the out of motherland of Africa, the climate nature versus nurture has something to do with the look, but not altogether. The Russians, there are old pictures of Russians that are darker than me, right? And that they are indigenous to that land. So the climate impacts it, but it's not to the degree that white Euro genetics and their ideology professes or claims, right? And I can show you pictures and show you source material so you can refer to it and you can read it and study it for yourself to see if it aligns with your thought process or not. But the facts still remain the same. Also, so going back, I digress to, as a Westerner, as an American, as a Black American, these are the images that they show, which I call propaganda, whiteness in film versus the real, right? So I didn't know that I didn't know that indigenous Asians were Black until I studied in college at Morgan State University. I started to get a little bit more knowledge on history and migrations, right? And I grew up watching certain films from Black Hollywood, which was at that time the Harlem Renaissance, right? I saw a couple of pieces and portions of those growing up. Okay. So, and they addressed Black Asians there in their own way. But from the most part, I grew up with the image of Asian being light, bright, almost white, going over what I addressed already. The skin tone, the eyes, the makeup, the hair, the skinny. Okay. Now, looking at it today, because I went to Morgan State University and I traveled and studied beyond that, and now I live in Asia, I for sure can say the light, bright, almost white Asian is just a very small portion of Asia.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the struggle to be that, to have that silky hair, to have that skin, fair skin. They struggle, like they use this kind of product here and there to become one cosmetic.
So to that cosmetic reality, so skin bleaching is $1 billion industry. And people, these companies who own these products make bank. They make billions of dollars off the insecurities and the narratives push, because there was a hierarchy during the time of colonization and white imperialism, right? Light, bright, almost white had a higher social status, and that still lingers. The vestiges of the Silk Road Asian slavery, Asian slave trade are still here in Asia. In my travels, I saw darker Asians, and they were at a lower, for the most part. Of course, there were
Lower cost.
Right. Well, some of them lived very well, right? So I'm not going to say every last one of them follows this, but for the majority, I can always guarantee that the darker you are in Asia and like anywhere else, right, in South America, North America, the darker you are as a whole in Africa, the darker you are, the more lower in society your class is. Now, you said caste system. India has a caste system, right? And it's based upon skin tone as well. However, globally, because we live in a white-dominated, white narcissism society globally, right? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I agree.
So that means that we also suffer from the same experience, going back to a Black like me. The Black Asians, just like the Black Arabs, just like the Black South Americans, just like the Black North Americans, just like the Black of the motherland of our continent, where we all come from, and also from Europe, right? The Black people there who are European, and then the Black Australians, right? All indigenous, all Black. But the darker you are, the 9 times out of 10, or that's a rough estimate, but majority of time, they're in a lower class or lower caste. Is that by coincidence?
No.
Is that by accident?
It was made up
It was by design,
by design.
and it's being kept in place by design. Would you agree?
I believe that.
So that means that the media drives the image. Here's one of my talking points. The media drives the image of propaganda, right? Policy follows after that. The government follows after that, right? Hence, it's by design that the darker people are on the bottom. So therefore, one could suggest that the governments are signed on with the white narcissism agenda or idea or ideals or idealism, right? Would you agree to that? Or you can just be honest. If you don't agree with it, just tell me why.
I agree some of it, but not all of it. But to come up with why I didn't agree, I'm trying to figure out now. But yeah, because number one, I think because of it's not because of what the government put or whatsoever, because I can say because of media. Number one is because of media. Media is like the enhancer for this, I put that blame 100% on media because they enhanced this. It's not that the media started it, because back then in 15th or 16th or 17th century, there's no media. So media is like they spread things fast, So back then they don't have that. So I don't think because of media didn't start it, but media nowadays, they enhance it. Those propaganda or whatsoever that been made from 100 years back then. So yeah. So if we, like I said, like just now, if this something related with the government as well, I don't think so. It's not that I don't think it's 100% of because of it's related to government, not 100%, but it could be like 30, 40, 50%,
Okay.
Because of it. One of the factor, could be, or it can be one of the influence or variables, but it's not 100%.
Well, thank you for that disagreement. And I think that you matched what I said to a certain degree for me to ponder and really think about and ingest it, and to have a different perspective. So I thank you for that that viewpoint. Now, with the propaganda machine that's pushed in the media, but we both can agree to that we all experience that, right? It's just not in the West we experienced it. You experienced it also in the East, and the global North, and also in the global South. So there is an agenda. Would you suggest there's some type of agenda going on?
Yeah.
Okay, I would too. So, but these are things that when I say a black like me, these are things that we all experience. We all experience the past. Because the past, even though it's in the past, it still shows up today. Vestiges of slavery, right? Trauma, I'm kind of switching gears a little bit. Trauma gets trapped in our body. Trauma gets trapped in our genetics. And it passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation. So some of us, if not all of us, carry traumatic experiences embedded in our DNA, in our genetics from times past, from the 15th century and onward, dealing with white narcissism, white Euro genetic imperialism, right? Even till today. It shows up in colorism. It shows up in whiteness in film, in the media. It shows up in how we treat each other, how we see each other, how people live in a caste system or a class system, how society shows us how we're supposed to look, and how, once again, how we treat each other, our cultures, right? But we're all experiencing this, right? We're not experiencing the same way, but we are experiencing that. We all may not see it the same way, right? And that's okay. But well, at least we all see it. And I think that's trying to get to that realization that that's where one of our areas we can meet in this intersectionality, in this universe of a black like me, right? That we all can relate to. Okay, So I think that's the time we have for today. I'll let you have the final words. What do you think about the concept of a Black Like Me and everything that we talked about? What do you think about it?
What I think about it, I think this is something that is very it's like this topic actually it can open up others, you know, it can open up others' mind to see that actually we came from a various mixture, and then various culture and so on. But what makes, you know, sometimes what makes there's a similarity or something that I can say. It's not really bad, but you know, like this propaganda sometimes it can be bad. We can see it as a bad thing, but sometimes we also can see some of it as a good thing that can help us to maybe, you know, improve in a way, or our living style or whatsoever. But this topic for me is it's a good topic. Why? Because, like I said, it gives you an insight about who you are. You should know who you are. So, I think that's it. It's a good insight.
How do you feel
How do I feel?
after going over this segment of A Black Like Me and this universe, this intersectionality, everything we talked about? How do you feel?
I feel. Well, a few minutes ago, I felt a little bit frustrated. Yeah, a little bit frustrated about what happened, about what we've been labeled or classified, whatsoever. But I don't. But overall, I'm proud. I'm proud of the mixture that I have. I'm proud of whoever I met and whoever I have this discussion with before, with you, with others, you know, who might open up a little bit here, this and that about our about our life, about who we are, about our culture, about our ancestors and so on. Yeah, I'm proud and I'm happy. Just a little bit of frustration because of, you know, some people who feel that they are on top of us, and then they can label us, they can classify us. Like, come on, maybe you should check who you are.
Well said, sir. I thank you for being my co-host today. All right, everyone. So that's going to wrap up our segment for today in this Cafe Wish podcast segment entitled A Black Like Me. My co-host today is a good friend of mine, Mua from Malaysia. And I think he did a great job of articulating himself and helping me build this universe, this intersectionality. Thank you, Mua, for helping me build your portion and my portion of this together, of how moving forward I can use these building blocks to have commonality and also bring awareness. So you're just not speaking for you, you're speaking for others as well. And they will be able to identify. So thank you for your transparency and your input, sir. And it's greatly valued here at Cafe Witch Podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Until next time, be happy, be smart, be healthy. Take care, everyone.